Life is a continuous stream of experiences. While good experiences boost our willpower and self-confidence, the sad ones strengthen our resolve to fight. But effectively, we all learn from the worst of the times. And this eventually opens up the best chapter of our lives. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Dr. Tapaswini's Corner. Sharp intellect, determination to succeed, and tremendous faith are some qualities required to conquer one of the most dreadful disease, cancer. That's what you will find in the story of our today's cancer survivor, Mr. Parmeshwaran. You are a highly experienced senior level executive in the operations and supply chain management in the pharma and life sciences at Bangalore. Post your journey with cancer, you are a trustee with the Friends of Max, a patient support group for CML, chronic myeloid leukemia, and GIST, gastrointestinal stromal tumors. Adventure sports, traveling, meeting people, and reading books are activities which have added joy and vibrance to your life. Welcome, Mr. Paran, to the show. Really honored to have you here today with us. Welcome.
Thank you, Doctor. It's my pleasure to be a part of this program where the title is Arogya Vani.
Oh, yes.
Arogya is where, I'm a patient advocate, and I would like to definitely share my journey and my well-being towards a better Arogya. Thank you.
Wow, wonderful. So you had blood cancer, that is chronic myeloid leukemia, which struck you in February 2004. And I was reading your blogs the other day, very beautifully written, and it read as, cancer resonates and recreates fear. This then clouds one's mind and hides the sun inside the individual. And that's so true. So what, in your thought, is the most important prerequisite to face and fight such challenges in life?
Well, from my experience, when I was diagnosed in 2004, initially the cloud created the fear of death, because cancer is equal to death. But where did I got the sunlight within me is I saw it is one of my body's organ called the bone marrow has got some dysfunction as per my doctor.
Right.
Whereas my mind and my soul, which has got the energy of carrying my body, doesn't have those disease. It's an energy, and that's where the sun radiates. And I saw the sun coming up on my mind saying that Param's mind and Param's soul doesn't have leukemia. And I told this to my doctor, and he said, yes, they don't have, your bone marrow has. And that's where I conquered my fear through my own faith.
Wow. Wow. So you have a strong willpower, and that's something you are blessed with. And it's, I think, a key to success, and in the absence of which even all talents, all qualities and endeavors come to nothing. So how long was this treatment?
Initially, when I got diagnosed in 2004, as you know, CML is one of the cancers which today has got a better quality of life because there is a targeted therapy for that. Like diabetes and blood pressure, you just have to take a pill every day. So I was put on the treatment program and it was working well. But nevertheless, I fell into, so it was about 2 years. I was on the standard treatment program for CML, which helped me to make the disease, disease-free. And it was, my parameters were well under control, and I was on the standard treatment for 2 years.
Okay. All right. Right. So did this have some sort of bothersome side effects which you experienced?
Any medicine you take will have definitely a side effect.
Right.
But CML, And the pill that was researched and developed has got a fantastic side effect. It makes you more fair.
Oh.
And I would love to share one of my experiences when I was having the side effects of where I become, basically I'm quite fair, but I become even more fair. So we were on a trip to Delhi in 2005 in December for a short holiday. So we were all going to Taj Mahal. And when we were in the queue, the security guard said, Sab, aap jara come to the side and you'll have to buy the foreigner's ticket. You have to buy it in dollar value. You cannot buy in Indian currency because you're from the foreign country. I told my wife, this is the compliment I'm getting by taking the standard drug. Others, there was no major side effects. Yes, they were very, simple side effects for which it was managed well with my treating doctor. So there's nothing to worry about.
Right. That's wonderful to hear, Param. When we find a reason why to live, the how automatically follows. But this is a disease which ultimately quite often spells death. And you exude so much of positivity, which of course is the key to conquering cancer. Where do you derive all this from?
I believed in myself, right from my childhood. I'm an optimistic person. And when I got this predicament, when I looked at the word, it's can and serve. So the word itself says you can.
Okay.
And my motto was, I can, you can, and we all can. And
Wonderful.
the second three letters is sir, which means you can survive. So that's where I got the strength from my own positive thoughts to say, I can survive this predicament. And I echo that in all my testimonies to say the first three letters is, it says you can, and it says you can survive. So I think it's a mind over the disease. And if you can put your mind to say you can, we all can.
Lovely, lovely. That's beautiful. Tell us, so who are your pillars of strength in this entire ordeal?
First pillar is the individual. The individual who has the predicament should never give up the hope.
Correct.
The individual has to gain the strength to get his pillar within himself or herself. That's battle number one. So when you do that, it resonates to your inner circle, like maybe your parents or maybe your extended family or your spouse. So with me, I was married. I was just 36 at that time. My wife was 33. And at day one, she was shattered. No doubt about it. Like any other person, she said, what am I going to do with the two small children? What is life for you? Am I going to lose you? So she was completely broken. But when she saw a composed Param standing on his pillar, next day morning, I still remember those words. It was a Sunday morning. She said, Param, I'm not going to let you go. And I'm going to fight this together. And we are going to win this battle together. So that became another pillar. And my daughters joined as they were growing. And this is my pillar of strength, which we continue as a family of Params. We continue to teach hope, faith, and trust.
That's so nice to hear, Param. Lovely. You're blessed with such a good family. The story of relapse, it's not unusual with cancers. And you had so in 2 years down the line, and you had to undergo a bone marrow transplant. Was this experience quite harrowing?
Indeed, that was the setback number 2 in 2006. So I had just gone on a beautiful vacation to UK as a family, and we just came back. And one thing I would like to tell the audience is one of the very important parameters is early diagnosis.
Correct.
So when I got diagnosed in 2004, it was an early diagnosis. I was asymptomatic. 2006 September, I finished the vacation. I had mild bouts of fever. I had weakness. I was a bit tired. So when I went for my month, I used to do the monthly test very, very rigorously, and I was very disciplined. October, when I went and did my blood test, it shows all the immature cells, and my doctor was also shocked because I was asymptomatic. I had very mild fever, which used to go with a dolo, but it didn't manifest to where it should have manifested. So the disease, unfortunately, had progressed to the last stage without giving an indication from a symptomatic perspective. So there we took a decision. Either I go to the next generation drug, which was available, but it was too expensive, And I had an option to do a bone marrow transplant because I had a match with my brother, which was a 100% match.
Wow.
Without wasting a single day. And yes, with the fear, because I didn't Google anything about the bone marrow transplant. I went head to Vellore. I spoke to my doctor, and doctor gave me everything about the pros and cons. He told my wife, there's no assurance your husband will go live from Vellore. But we said, doctor, I'm going for it. And there, it was the same position I gave my wife when I went there. I told my wife, my parents, and my daughters that I will come back.
Wow.
And that I took out the fear with the faith in me, saying that when I can battle for 2 years, I'm definitely going to battle this out and come out success. I gave my doctor a green signal, said, doctor, nothing to worry. I'm going to fight this out. And I removed the fear with the faith.
I can see those emotions welling up in you, Param. But tell
Thank
us,
you.
there was an interesting anecdote on your way. That is when you were at the Katpadi station with a gentleman giving you a lot of surmises and beautiful advices. Can you just share it with our audience?
Oh, it's one of my touching moments of hope.
Mm-hmm.
So post-transplant, transplant is various phases and stages. So
Right.
after the transplant, I was allowed after a few weeks to go because I was desperate to see my parents and my daughters. So my doctor allowed with all the condition like what you are today, full of mask and full of gloves. My immunity was compromised. So he allowed on conditions. Why at that point of time is, my donor cells and my cells were not 100%. So they were still 50-50, which means my disease is still in my body and there was a serious concern. My wife was actually shattered. So while we're sitting in the bench and we're waiting for the train to come, I was having the mask and my wife was all in her tears and she had lost hopes, to be honest. So there was this gentleman, who was reading I think looks like a Bible. So he just came. He looked at me and he told my wife, it looks like your husband is coming from Vellore because he looks to be, everything is lost. He looks pretty, thin and no hair. So it looks like you're very shattered. But madam, believe me, your husband is going to hit many, many milestones in life. This is just a small setback.
Mm-hmm.
Please have faith in the Almighty above. Your husband is going to get a beautiful quality of life. Those words put a smile on my wife's face and I could see her smiling. After a few minutes, I couldn't thank him because by then he had gone. I didn't know where he was and my train came and we just, I held my wife's hand through the journey. She had that hope kindling in her. And as I'm speaking to you today, I think it's 17 years or 15 years of my transplant. Yesterday, I had an episode to give that hope to a person who had COVID in my team. 10 days back when he went into a serious stage, I called him and I spoke to him. I said, we are all with you. The God is with you. I'm getting into my prayers. I'm going to pray for you because he was one of the best workers I have in my team.
Oh.
I called him yesterday. He said, sir, your call made me to leave. So that's hope. Help one person every day. Help other person excel. That is the hope in me, which I try to give. Thank you.
So why do you think hope is so essential? Why is hope so essential to our being? In your books, first of all, tell us how you define the word hope.
We have the inner mind, which is the subconscious mind.
Okay.
And you have the lateral and the prenatal cortex and all your thinking mind, which is the rational mind on which we work, with our body functions. So we have parasympathetic and autosympathetic. You have those combinations.
Correct.
Hope comes very deep from that subconscious mind. That controls your, every portion of your body. And if you can kindle that hope, your cells will start manifesting with positivity. And that's the importance of hope. If that gets shattered, then there is nothing else. So that's the reason for me, hope is very, very important. Be any situation in this world, even today in this current pandemic, we should not lose hope. We just had to gain our hope, which will, turn into a better, testimonials.
Yeah, that's what we say. The body needs oxygen to survive, but the spirit needs oxygen of hope to live.
Exactly.
Right? We say that we can control two things in our lives. One is the desire, and the second is our motives. So has this journey of cancer in any ways brought forth some bag full of lessons for you?
Life has become even more beautiful because sometimes we
Yeah.
take life for granted. The materialistic gains and the materialistic approach and the people value system, we take it for granted. Cancer taught me that nothing less is important than your own life. So give the priority to that. And from there, like where I'm today, the physical part, the mental part, the emotional part, and the spiritual part. I think cancer taught me to start making progress in this. And where I am today, I'm just looking at much more the journey within me. What is there within me which I can give? What is there within me which I can be in peace? What is there within me that is much more bigger than anything else in this world? So I'm just exploring that, and that is making me even more beautiful to live and beautiful to give the hope to others. That's part A of my response. Part B is obviously, it's very important for us to have this, thing about the auto suggestions. We just got to make sure that we continue to breathe those same thoughts, and that can manifest in a better manner. Why I'm giving this, as this example is when, for example, you told me about the oxygen condition where the body needs oxygen, but the soul needs that inspiration of hope.
Correct.
When I was in my transplant, my counts came down to 100. During that critical time, anything could have happened to my life. Any bug, a mosquito could have just taken out my life. But during that process, what I learned and what I preach and what I share in my testimony is auto suggestions. I just start giving these thoughts into me, which is the hope of saying, 38 years, my dear cells, you took care of me ever since I was born, but you unfortunately got contaminated with some leukemia, but it's okay. You took care of me. Thank you. Now my brother cells has come. Don't fight. And my brother used to fight when we were childhood, but when you're inside, let's be bye-bye. Let's be good bye-bye. And, I don't want too much of reactions. So please exit from my body and don't spoil my other organs in my body, which are healthy. And I just want my donor cells to take over and give me that new lease of life. And that worked. On the 11th day, as per the protocol, my count started going 300. And within a week, I was out into the normal ward. And that's what I learned about the power of the mind and the power of which can in turn take your body to start working through it.
Wonderful. But when I read your blogs, there's a lot of mention of the Holy Scripture, Bhagavad Gita. So in the gist of the scripture, has it helped you also to come out of this crisis?
From my childhood, I'm a very God-fearing person. I have a lot of faith in the power above. Different formats, obviously. And my favorite God is Lord Krishna in its different formats. So Lord Krishna's, teachings, the way Arjuna went through the process, he went through an emotional crisis, like any cancer patients goes through that. In the chapter 1, he just, the strength of Arjuna was just lost by just the fear and confusions and everything. Lord Krishna started giving the light of hope, the light as to what exactly it is. It's all in the mind. And this is the true reality about the self. And that helped me. And I'm still exploring it. I'm still a student. I'm still learning. I got lost to learn. And I hope to continue my learning journey to master. I can't say master. Maybe I will try to learn more about the Gita and the works associated with that.
Amazing, amazing. As we said, it takes a thunderstorm to realize that we've been taking many things in our life for granted. So post-cancer, what is the biggest investment that you think you should be doing or you've been doing?
I'll answer it in two parts. One is, post-cancer is, I stood up for the community. I didn't feel shy that, I survived and I don't want to share my testimonials. So I'm across the CML network, both in India and in globe. So I share my testimonials. I'm a part of the community. I work with the doctors. I work with the companies. I'm trying to see what more we can do to improve the quality of life of cancer patients. I'm also in other cancer community because the word is common, be it any time, even a head and neck cancer, like I have a friend. So we exchange our positivity. We can, as a patient testimony, we can create positivity to any patient. So that's number one. That's my purpose of life. Sometimes I realize that I got this disease to make a meaningful difference in other people's lives in whatever extent possibility I can do. The second part, obviously, is we should get over this fear of saying, whenever I do I'm very still rigorous. My doctors told me that you do not have to come for any more of your tests. But I generally do it as a part of my own well-being, just to make sure that everything is in order. So whenever you do your blood test, obviously, it kindles you what it is, but I remove the fear. I said, I'm absolutely normal. I'm doing my blood test like any other normal people who do their blood test at each ages or as per the recommendations of the doctor. I think these are the two key themes on which I convey post, any cancer treatment.
Greatest longing of any individual is to give love and to be loved. So what is that you long for?
Harmony within myself and the well-being of myself. And if I can kindle that harmony and the well-being to the larger community, so that they can lead a healthy life in this beautiful planet, I think that's what is my most loving thing that I would like to do. Because I got a second chance to live.
Absolutely.
So whatever shelf life I have, if I can help in the well-being of others, I do have some testimonials where after people listening to me definitely got out of the predicament and they're all doing well in different parts of the globe. But is it enough? But wherever possible, if I can help in the well-being and in bringing harmony, that will be my aspirations for moving forward.
Wonderful. So has yoga and meditation in any ways impacted these thoughts that you carry?
Yes. Of course, there was a cycle, because post-transplant, I got back my quality of life. It took about a couple of years. And then I focused on my career. So I took some big roles and I moved around different places. So obviously, I just made sure that I don't do any workouts, but I was just conscious about what I eat and what habits I should give up. And I didn't restart any of my habits. So whatever I had. Moving forward, then I thought that my priorities is to get into a physical well-being and a mental well-being and an emotional well-being. To achieve these three, I started my workouts. So I used to start going to the gym. And now the last year plus, I have a physical trainer. I do a gym at home. And I'm just making sure I build my muscles, I build my tissues, I build my bones. Because what I invest now will take care of my retired life. So that's number one. Number two is, under any circumstances, I think the mental and the emotional harmony is very much needed. And I went to my yoga teacher and I told, I don't want to do all the asanas at this point of time because I don't have the time, because I got to manage my professional life and my personal life. But what I would like to learn is try to teach me some, meditation, pranayamas, so that I can get some peace and harmony, because I have a professional role to play and I've been growing in my career. So the kind of pressure and conflicts that comes from a professional world. So I just wanted to make sure I don't compromise on my health anymore. So that's when I learned pranayama. I practice meditation. So my first 2 hours in the morning is my solitude time. It's my time. Wherever I am in this world, I continue to do my physical exercise. I continue to do my meditation. That helps me reasonably well during the day to have that harmony within me and within myself.
Wow, wonderful. We say that winning in life is not always the true benchmark of success. But now that you are 15 years down the storyline of cancer, what does this success mean to you?
I would rather put it as, excellence. because excellence is a journey. I didn't win over cancer because, always, in cancer, it's remission. So, always, this is what, doctors say, hey, even in my community, they say, hey, okay, Param, you're 15 years old. It doesn't mean, because we have some cases, where it can come. I said, okay, I listen to you. But what is in my control is, instead of creating the pressure of winning creates pressure. Instead of that, can I start excelling? Can I start excellence in whatever I'm doing? Because excellence is a journey. You continue to take one step, you hit that, you continue to take the next step, you hit that. So I would rather, advocate if we can build an excellence of, early diagnosis, excellence on well-being, excellence on health. The program like this, I would treat it as an excellence towards well-being. And that would be my, motto, and that would be my goal.
Wonderful, wonderful. You are an avid reader, and I've seen a mention of a lot of books in your blogs. I'm sure you would have read The Emperor of Melodies by Siddharth Mukherjee. Tell us, after all that has happened to you, do you still label cancer as the Emperor of Melodies?
From a biological point of view, yes, because it's science. And the science, because I believe in data, and being a technical person, data shows that there is some manifestation of A, B, C, depending on the type of cancer. So is it a malady is what we need to think and accept. When I got diagnosed, it was a deadly word. Between the science of the predicament and the malady, I think there is that sweet spot. What is the sweet spot? The sweet spot is, how do you take it? You take the data, don't Google it. Trust your doctor. That's foremost important, because the problem it becomes into a serious malady or serious issue is, people today have too much of information, which is irrational. So we got to try to strike that balance and help in managing the science, and make sure that we take the right treatment and convert into a pleasure and not a pressure.
Absolutely. Correct. Param sir, we are almost to the end of this program. What is that little message that you love to share with our listeners?
Celebration of cells. Cancer is all about celebration of cells, be it any type. They all multiply, mutate. They have a jalsa in your body.
Yeah.
Those celebrations, if you can just reflect on your mind by saying that you celebrate, it's in your body, I'm going to treat it with my treating doctor, and with hope, faith, and trust. Hope is within you. Never give up hope. Start celebrating with the willpower and with the mind in your mind, saying that I'm going to break this cycle of jalsa of myself. Have faith in whatever religion you believe. There is a power above. But don't ask that power above, why me? Why at this time you gave me this? There is a purpose. All of us go through some pain or the other. Don't convert the pain into a suffering, because pain is body, suffering is in the mind. So never convert that. All of us will go through a pain, and we have the capability to break that pain. Last but not the least, don't lose the trust within you, with your doctor, with your family, and with your loved ones. Let that trust. So these are 3 stages. It's a very key message that I would like to give from my own experience. Never lose hope, faith, and trust, which will enhance the jalsa of your any predicament you get diagnosed for. You can have a good time and have a good quality of life.
Thank you so much. I don't know how to thank. It's such beautiful words, and you are very thoughtful, and whatever you spoke had so much of meaning. Thank you so much, Param. Thanks a lot for being with us today on the show.